Let's see. That's too poppy. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're enjoying this fine spring day. If you can, please rise. We are going to sing a spirited version of Spirit-Led, Spirit-Fed with Andres on drums assisting. I'm spirit-led, spirit-fed. Everywhere and always I'm spirit-led. I'm spirit-led, spirit-fed. Everywhere and always I'm spirit-led. Flowing like a river of peace. I am nature's wandering child. Love cannot be added to me. I am made complete in the divine. I am spirit-led, spirit-fed. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led. I am spirit-led, spirit-fed. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led. There's magic in every day, like a beautiful song. And as we're choosing our way, there's a voice inside to guide us along. We are spirit-led. Everywhere and always we are spirit-led. I am spirit-led, spirit-fed. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led. I am spirit-led, spirit-fed. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led. I am spirit-led, spirit-fed. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah. No, it's just so tempting to. It's right here. But we'll have the master perform that a little later. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good to have you here. Hi, Lori. Have a seat. Hello to those of you joining us on the live stream, YouTube or Facebook. We're so glad to have you here. And if you would just kind of say hi in the chat so that we know that you're here, so that you can interact with each other. That just makes it a little more meaningful when you do it that way. And we know you're here, and we're connected with you and being fully present in this moment. Taking a deep breath together. And I want to introduce the partner to my left, Chris Eagle, who is our service leader today. And as he lights the Divine Light candle, I invite you to say our opening invocation, which is on the sheet in the seat back in front of you. He's also lighting the candle that we have, the prayers for Ukraine. All right, taking a deep breath together. There is only one presence and one power, active in the universe and in my life. God, the good omnipotence. Just feel that energy. You've just opened up. You've just invited the awareness and the experience of spirit to grow in your heart, to grow in your mind, to be led and guided by this presence of love. That's why we're here. And so we allow it to be, and so it is.
And so it is.
I surrender. I trust and I know as I surrender, I fall into the arms of love. I surrender. I
feeling how that song moves into this quieter time. And if you have a device, would you meditate it, however that looks, before it wants to alert you of yet another thing, whatever that might be. But right now, this is our time, our space to be fully present with whatever you consider divine. So if it's comfortable for you, clear your laps of whatever might be on them so you can just be present, close your eyes or gaze softly down, and just let my words guide you deeper into your presence. Just checking the physical body. If there's anything, maybe your jaw or neck might be a little tight. Allow your breath, the inhale and exhale, to just transport and loosen any tension that might be there. Also your chest, your torso, your hips. Again, let your breath, this wonderful mantra that we carry with us 24/7, move it and loosen it. Also, down through your legs, maybe your ankles, your knees, just give that soft awareness, allowing it to loosen or remove any tension. If there are any thoughts that are running through, just acknowledge them. Give them a little bit of love and let them go. Find yourself centered. That might feel like a physical location in your body, and yet it might not. Might be in your heart, might be in your spine, or some other area, but just be with that. And with every breath, the inhale brings in new. The top of the breath allows stillness. The exhale allows release. And the bottom of the breath, again, stillness. And in those still points, there is presence, there is depth, there is the eternal you that is in there. So let us just allow that presence to envelop us, to move through us and throughout the world in the silence. from this beingness, being fully enveloped in this presence, if there are any situations, people, or places that aren't yet in that space along with you, you can certainly say them softly aloud, and I am going to turn it over to our trained prayer partner, Pat Webster, to include those and so many more.
Sweet, sweet Holy Spirit, Mother, Father, God, we from this sacred, holy place, from the deepest and best divine of us, we unite our hearts in prayer for the prayers that have been, the prayer requests that have been placed in this box. We know that all of us have prayers for health, for the abundance and prosperity that is ours through your law, through relationship challenges, which invite us to learn how to love more and better and deeper. And we bless these prayers. We bless those who've requested these prayers. And we assert, because that's how it is, that these prayers have already been answered in the God, no space, no time. And we look forward to how they're manifest. And we say a special, special prayer, dear Father, Mother God, for the Ukrainians and for our world right now. May all unfold in love and divine order, and so it is.
So
Amen.
it is. From where you are, allow yourself to open your eyes, stretch a little if that feels comfortable. If you're near somebody, be mindful of that, or playful of that, or both. Just allow yourself to envelop that energy back into your body so that it can fully participate as well. And when you are ready, you can join me in saying our vision and mission, which if you're in person is either on the order of service, this colored sheet, or the program, or if you're live streaming, you'll see it on the screen. And let's start with the vision. Our vision, we envision the divine light in all, in the awakening in all. I'm going too fast. Already awake. Our mission, we center in peace and love. We connect in our hearts with others. We celebrate our journey towards wholeness, and we empower others to experience their spiritual magnificence. And so it is. So it's my pleasure and honor to bring up the maestro of all the things that Victoria would love to play. Yes, Alex Weiss. And as he gets his stuff ready here, for those of you in person, I did notice there are CDs in the back there, so you can certainly have a take-home version of that as we get everything set up, because we certainly want people to be able to actually hear this. All right.
It's great to be here, like usual. I know everyone has looked at me and said, well, where's your wife? Because most of the time she's doing other things today, but everything's good. So, what is the theme today? New awakenings, This is a relatively new instrument for me. This is a balafon. It comes from West Africa, like starting around the 13th, 14th century. And it has, for many relatives, it has and the marimba. But the balafon is originated in West Africa. And for me, it's a new relationship, and you know how new relationships are? Every instrument, I have a different relationship. Well, the first 6 months, everything's great and light and fun. Well, that's what I want to share with you. This is, I'm just going to be stumbling around on this new relationship. And I have the chutzpah to share it with you out like this. So. Oh. Wasn't that fun?
Did you have a good time with her today?
Don't tell Leland.
Well, the cat's away. Good morning. Good to see your faces. I guess the first thing I should say, go Heels. And I am sorry for the Duke fans, those of you living in Durham, I'm sorry, but we're in Chapel Hill, so we have to celebrate a little bit. Yeah.
Divine flow is real.
What?
Divine flow.
Divine flow, yeah. It was a good game. Went too late, so I had to go to bed because I get up early on Sunday, but I know my husband watched it to the end, right? It was pretty exciting, huh? Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, so, the last few weeks, we have been working with this idea of releasing, of identifying and releasing old consciousness, old ways of being, anything that would hold us back from growing into our fullest potential, right? So like a caterpillar who gives way to become a butterfly, or a snake that must shed its skin in order to grow, we must release restrictive consciousness. Those old ideas of what we thought were possible for us, what we felt that we were worthy of. So, that's such an essential part of any process of growth and transformation. So you've been supported in this work with the self-inquiry journal questions and our talks and the self-awareness class, whether you decided to attend that or not. How many of you actually attended self-awareness class. A few of you, yeah, okay. Did you find it helpful? Useful in this process? Good. Okay, excellent. So, now we're moving into the Easter time. Easter, Passover, the spring, flowers are in bloom, the yellow pollen is here, yay! With the exception of that yellow pollen, it's a joyous time. It is a time that holds promise, And if we look at the Easter story purely metaphorically, we might see that this metamorphosis process is symbolized by Jesus releasing his physical body, albeit in a very dramatic way, and rising up and continuing his mission in the purely non-physical spiritual realm, right? And at the same time, demonstrating this idea of overcoming the world, overcoming limitation consciousness. And so the story is that he suffered enormously on the cross, which may be true. I don't know, I wasn't there. It could also be true. I mean, maybe he experienced it like a butterfly does metamorphosis, like the caterpillar completely dissolving in order for something new to be born, to be created, a butterfly with wings. And those wings, as we mentioned the last few weeks, are strengthened through that process of trying to come out of the chrysalis. So perhaps his spiritual power was strengthened through that process. It's just an idea that's been floating around in my head. So I wanted to express it. You are free to, have it represent to you anything that you choose it to represent. The only thing we really agree on in unity about this is that we know Jesus didn't die for our sins. We're not sinners, first of all. How could we be? We are beautiful expressions of the one divine life. We are infinite love expressing. We make mistakes out of our humanness, right? But we're not sinners. And this idea of sacrificing the lamb so that the whole herd, the greater community can be saved, that's an ancient idea that predates Jesus. And it was a very popular idea. So you can kind of see how people gravitated to that concept. So we're going to talk in the next couple of weeks about some different ideas that we can kind of glean from this and Passover and all of these things that are happening now, maybe new ways of looking at them that can give us meaning, where we can find meaning for us. But in the meantime, today we're shifting our focus away from this idea of releasing the old, and we're discovering and exploring this new magnificent possibility that is seeking to emerge through and as us. And as I was sharing last week, the clue for actually, seeing that possibility could be to really listen to that divine urge within us, that divine urge that is pointing us in the direction of expressing more of who we are, a greater expansion of ourself, that sense of expansiveness. And as I also mentioned, that sometimes that's uncomfortable. And when we think about actually going for that new possibility, it's sometimes scary, really scary. I also want to share with you that, we also want to pay attention to what sparks joy in us. When you think about this new possibility that you're getting a gleam of, does it put a smile on your face? Does it open your heart? Does it make your heart sing? And both of these things can exist at the same time. We can feel the spark of joy that makes our heart sing, and it can be scary. Both of those things can be true. So, most of the time, very often, we get caught in the daily routine, right? Our daily routine of taking care of ourselves, taking care of our loved ones, taking care of our homes, taking care of, whatever work that we have in the world, the daily routine, that we don't always leave the room, the space for discovering and expressing that highest that is within us, that highest potential. We don't always think, the first thing we wake up in the morning, what is that magnificent vision that's trying to be birthed through me? And particularly the last 2 years, we have been spending a lot of time and effort protecting ourselves, protecting our loved ones, protecting our communities against COVID, which is understandable and totally, absolutely important. But again, it doesn't always leave the room for listening to our soul's desire for expression. It's just the energy of protecting. Protecting is a different energy than opening to and listening to the desire of our soul that is pointing us in the direction of expressing more of our magnificence. But now that we are coming out of this pandemic, knock on wood, that's not a spiritual principle, by the way. It's a superstition. It would be interesting to know where that came from. If you know, talk to me after the service. But, okay, so now that, and I know I said this 6 months ago, right? I said, we're coming out of the pandemic. But now I really mean it. I really mean it. We seem to be. Okay, so now we're seeing a lot of people, they're leaving behind old ways of doing things, and they're opening to what's next. A lot of people are looking for new ways to work, new ways to live. They're living in different places. People are moving all over. They're looking for different ways of being. They don't always know what that is yet, but, they're looking. And the good news about this time is that we're thinking new thoughts. We're thinking new thoughts. You can't give birth to a new possibility when your mind is crowded with old thinking, old patterns of thinking. Many people live their lives thinking the same thoughts over and over, doing the same things over and over. It's like, oh, I know what that is. I've had that thought before. Yeah, it's comfortable. I'm comfortable. I've been perceiving that same experience the same way for all these years. Why should I challenge myself? Why should I question that? But isn't it the unquestioned answers as opposed to the unanswered question? The unquestioned answers that keep us stuck in that loop of doing the same things in the same way over and over again. So it's time for new thoughts. And actually, isn't that what unity is? New thought. We're new thought. It's time we had some. A lot. So let's challenge ourselves to opening to new thoughts. Excuse me. All right, so in order to stimulate new thinking and to connect with really the source of new ideas, new thinking, that really is the first step in this process of transformation. That's the first step, because we must, in order to see the new possibility, we must think anew. We must perceive things a little differently. We must open to new ways of seeing. So one of the best ways, I think, of doing that, and fun ways of doing that, is to surround ourselves with what inspires us. And preferably new things that we hadn't thought of, that we hadn't tried before, or maybe the same thing but in a different way, with different people, or on a different day, or in a different location. And the sources of inspiration, I mean, they're endless. Mother Nature, first and foremost, right? A beautiful sunset, a mountaintop. YouTube. I don't think that's nature. He says YouTube. No. Well, sometimes they have these beautiful nature videos, right?
With inspiration from incredible things.
Well, yes, right? Yeah. Okay, you're like inspiring talks and presentations.
Or music.
Yeah, or music. Yeah, a beautiful piece of music. Yeah. And those nature videos, sometimes they're, the waterfalls and the majestic mountain range and the clouds and the, gorgeous fields of flowers. It could even be just the little buds that are coming alive on that tree outside your window that, looked dead for the past 4 months. That's inspiring. The sound of birds, the different songs of birds. How many? And they're all unique and they're all beautiful. A great blue heron soaring just above the water. Geese, the sound of geese in the distance. Art, art, walking an art gallery or a science museum. So you can come from so many places. As you said, a good talk, an inspiring speech, an inspiring guided meditation. An athlete who goes beyond anything that anyone thought was possible. Anyone breaking through a barrier. All of that is so inspiring. So what we want to do is really move into that, find it, and allow ourselves to experience it, to open to it. That word inspire is breathing in spirit. That's what it means, breathing in spirit. So we think when we're looking at something that inspires us that it is, the source of that is outside of us, but really what's happening is that it's triggering the inspiration in us. That place that we are inspired in spirit, one with the infinite, one with all of it. And what happens is that it begins to come alive. It gets activated. It comes online. And with it comes new perspectives, new ways of looking at things, new ways of thinking, of seeing, right? So find some new things to get inspired by and really allow yourself to be with it. Right, like just not, oh, lovely sunset. So what was I saying? Be with it. Be with the experience of it. Drink it in. Immerse yourself in it. You might want to talk to other people, about what inspires. Now, of course, not always. What inspires one person is not necessarily what inspires another. We know that. But sometimes it does. Mary Angela. She insisted that I go with her to the Museum of Natural History and Science, I think, to see this incredible exhibit. And I'm like, this is the middle of the week. And okay. So I went, and oh my God, it was the most amazing thing, this guy, Christopher Marley, I think his name is, but so he's a naturalist and an artist, and he travels all over the world, and he collects these colorful, they're all really amazingly, vibrantly colorful beetles and butterflies. Did you see it?
No, I've seen it.
The pictures of it? Yeah. Shells, geodes, bird feathers, sea urchin shell. And so he takes them all, he preserves it, and he puts it, he's an artist, and he puts it in these intricate patterns, these beautiful, like mandalas or mosaics. It was so inspiring. I went home and I told my family they needed to come with me. When we went like the next week, and we all were inspired as well. So talk to other people, see what is, what inspires, and take it on. Allow yourself to really experience it. So one of the things that inspired me this week, in addition to that blue heron that glides over the lake that's right outside of our backyard, so blessed. What else inspired me was a sentence, one sentence that from Eric Butterworth, and he is defining, is his definition of God. And he says, God is spirit, present in its entirety at every point in space, all at the same time. I'll say that again. God is spirit, present in its entirety at every point in space, all at the same time. Breathe that in for a minute. Wow. So wherever we look, any place, the fullness of spirit is. And right where you are, the fullness of spirit is in your mind, in your essence, your spirit, and the fullness of spirit is in every one of those 37 trillion cells of your body. Think about that. Ooh. So that idea, I have heard this, of course, idea before. It's not new. It's just I heard it in a different way. Sometimes when you hear something in a different way, it suddenly awakens something in you, and you go, oh, I got it. And so it enlivened I used it in my affirmative prayer practice. It just enlivened my affirmative prayer. So that inspiration came with an entire week of inspiration because I took one of the Spiritual Explorers classes, Paul Hasselbeck's to be specific, and you take a Paul Hasselbeck class, yeah, you're definitely going to question your answers and look at new ways of thinking and new ways of looking at things. Certainly. And there's something about taking a class every evening or whatever time it is, 5 days a week, all on top of each other. And it just sort of builds one on the other. So by the time you're done, you're in a completely different place than you were before you started. It's quantum growth. Something about the intensity of those classes leads to propelling you into quantum growth. So if you missed the Spiritual Explorers Week this year, don't miss it next year. So it's always at the same time, the same week, which is the last week in March. So it'll be next year. Don't miss it, because it's really, wow, it's a completely different experience of spiritual growth. All right, so secondly, to get these new thoughts percolating so that we can see the new possibility when it arises, when it wants to be known, right? So that we can see it, is to approach our daily routine differently, a little differently. Do things differently. Switch it up. And it could be just little things, right? Like try a new food you've never tried before. Wear a different
kind of clothing than you had before. Take a new route to work or wherever it is you're going. Get lost. I kind of like getting lost. I mean, if I don't have somewhere to be, yeah, you get lost and you go, oh, look, I never knew that was there. Wow. I was going down the road the other day, and I looked, and I think it was because also the leaves were, there's no leaves on the trees, so you can see there was a geodesic dome home there. I'd never seen that before. And I started wondering, wow, what's it like to live in a geodesic dome? How do they separate the bedroom from the living room? And is there an upstairs? And what is that like? So it just kind of, it stimulated my imagination. And that's the idea. I'm thinking new thoughts, Listen to new music, new genre of music. This is one of the things I admire about my husband, Dana, who's over there. He listens to all different genres of music. And I remember when we were first started dating, it's like bluegrass. And I'm like, bluegrass? That's Christian-based, right? You're Jewish. He's like, I love all the best part of all genre of music. So switch it up. Try something new. Go for the best of that genre. I'm not sure watching a new TV show fits into this category. Although, I have to say, when I watched the Great British Baking Show during the lockdown, I learned new words. I learned new ways of cooking. I learned different styles. I gained an appreciation for desserts. I also gained a few unwanted pounds, so not sure that had the intended effect, but you get my point. So try new things. Try doing what you're doing, just little things. So here's your assignment for this week is number 1, immerse yourself in things that inspire you. Surround yourself with things that inspire you, that fill your heart, that make you come alive, that go, oh, yeah, oh. And spend some time drinking it in and sharing it with others so that they can also have that experience. And then do 5 things differently. And they don't have to be big, right? Little things. Do 5 things differently this week. And begin to notice. Are you thinking new thoughts? Are you getting new ideas? Are you perceiving things differently? And is it sparking joy? And what exactly sparks joy in you? And you want to kind of get a sense. It's a good way to get a sense of that possibility that's seeking to emerge, right? What we're doing is we're setting the stage. We're setting the stage. We're opening to it, to that new possibility, to a more expansive way of living. Don't we all want to have a more expansive way of living? Yeah, right. We don't want to be thinking the same thoughts, getting trapped in that, loop. We want to have an expansive experience of life. So this helps set the stage for that, and we grow into it. So, yeah. Do this. Come back next week and let me know how it goes. All right, namaste. Once again, Alex Weiss.
But I hear you. I hear what you're saying, and this song is going to include nature. Yeah. We're going to approach it a new way. Oh yes, listen. This is a song I wrote a long time ago. I wrote it for a friend who was an activist and environmentalist. She actually lived in Chapel Hill. Her name is Acacia Berry. And she got arrested for protesting old-growth logging way out in Idaho. And I wrote, we actually got together money for her court cases, and I wrote this song for her benefit. And it's called For the Trees. But over time, it has transformed. And it's come to a much broader usage. Now, it's for nature. You know, and in the springtime, there's nothing more obvious than nature as it's coming alive. And so this tree is for nature, and it's for the struggle of nature in the 21st century as development, human development, is devastating and growing and growing. And which was really what Acacia was about too. But this is when Acacia, last time I saw it was 30 years ago. So For the Trees. This is a song with a poem inside it. Nurturing spirit of this earth, whose perspective I abide. Nurturing spirit of this earth, whose perspective will survive. Rivers running, harsh, gentle, ever resourceful. Mountains to the sky, wind and silence, clouds and sunlight, silence and perspective. Nurturing spirit of this earth, whose perspective I abide. Nurturing spirit of this earth, whose perspective will survive.
Thank you, Alex. We didn't have to go very far to experience something new. It just showed up in presence. So thank you, Alex, for reacquainting us with nature in sound form. So, since we're on this path of new thought, quite literally, why don't we try a new thought with this next experience that we're diving into, which is a sacred exchange? What if this could be a pleasurable, a meaningful, enheartening, and expanding experience? What if all of those things could be embodied in this exchange of typically money in digital or analog form and many things in between, but it is really an essence of us being shared in this community, through this community, that goes out into the world and comes back. So I ask you that with whatever representation that you are giving, that you hold these close. And if you're in person, there are various ways in the seat back. There's stuff in the program. If you're online, there's all kinds of things showing up for you there. The thing that I would love for you to do is if you would take, if you don't yet know it, it is on the bottom of this sheet, or if it's on the screen, let us bless these gifts, this exchange, so that we really feel and embody this essence moving through us to Unity Center Peace, through Unity Center Peace, out to the world and back. So let us say that together. Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. And join in on the song.
I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm aware of all my blessings, so much good I can't sit still. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm aware of all my blessings, so much peace I can't sit still. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm aware of all my blessings, so much love I can't sit still. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled.
Now, how could you not be transformed with all of this that's going on? Would you take your hands and aim at these bowls? Because now it's not just our individual experience, but our collective experience, which has divine orchestration and amplification and all these wonderful things, these other shuns and ings and things that all come together, that we together, with our gifts, are transforming this planet. And so it is.
I love that new perspective. And thank you for taking you'll see the boxes going out, yes, to the foyer. So it will be placed next to a list of, like a little thing that has prayer requests in it. So you are welcome to do a prayer request and put it in that box and it be prayed over to here on Sunday. And so we just wanted to say hello. Thank you for being here. If there's anybody who's visiting us for the first time today, we'd love for you to raise your hand, and one of our greeters will come by with a packet of information that has a blue. Anybody visiting for the first time today? No? Yeah, okay, I thought so. I don't think I'd seen your face. Yes, and right here. And if you fill out right here, Mary, yeah, if you fill out the card on the top and return it to her, there's a free gift for you in that. And if you're joining us for the first time online, hello, we're so glad to have you here. If you would just say hello in the chat. Hi, I'm here for the first time. Our wonderful greeter, Mel, will share as much information about UCP as you'd like to have. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for joining us. We're co-creating this experience together. All right, I think we got one more song coming along.
We got one more song.
Oh,
yes.
with Chris Whiteneck is joining
I,
in.
This is my new partner.
All right,
yeah.
okay.
You know, trying to feature our percussionists here, obviously. I wanted to give a little shout out to Andre, a big shout out to Andre. Every week he's here, plays with everybody, does such a tremendous job. And my friend Alex, who every day I learn something from. Every time I'm with him, I learn something. I don't know how he does it, but anyway. Here's a little Stevie Wonder. Everybody's got a thing, but nobody wants to handle it. Always reaching out in vain, accepting the things that can change. Don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing, people. 'Cause I'll be standing on the side when you check it out. Say your life's a drag, and that you must go other places. But just because you've never had, don't get too weird by smiling faces. Don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing, people. 'Cause I'll be standing on the side when you check it out. Don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a chance to check out the new. But try want to see the changes that life will take you through. But don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing, people. 'Cause I'll be standing on the side when you check it out. Don't you worry about a thing. 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 Don't you worry about a thing.
You got Chris Whiteneck on piano and vocals, Alex Weiss on the congas and bongo.
Lisa congas.
Congas, right. Got it. And Andres Rosales.
Yes.
Got it. I have trouble with the Spanish style last names because I never know which one I'm supposed to land on. So Andres Rosales on percussion. Woohoo! So you can't find that on those CDs. You have to come to Unity Centerpiece to get that. Just wanted to let you all know.
But I do have some CDs available of
Yeah, of other things, yes.
But you're right. And a book. And I'm even on YouTube.
So,
I think you would make a great student. I'd love to teach you volleyball. I think you'd do wonders.
all right.
Open-minded.
So those of you live streaming, I think there's something getting set up between Reverend Victoria and Alex on the ballophone. So, but we digress. We have other things to speak of. It is the first Sunday of the month, so we have a little tradition here that we do. Can anybody think what that is? Birthdays, yes. So anybody who has a birthday in the month of April, that includes you on live streaming as well. Could we get a raise of hands to those in person? Anybody here? April? Yes. We got Mary Wiley in the back. I'm sure there are there's another one there. Yeah. So, Susie. So what we do is we're going to sing happy birthday, and if you're always wondering what the heck do you do when you get to the name, you can say April birthdays. So there, you got something in there. So let's roll this off.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear
April birthdays.
Happy birthday to
We even got a little bow from the back there. So we have birthday cake stuff for after. We always have a reception afterwards, get together, coffee and other wonderful snacks. So partake of that if you're in person. Sorry, there's no way to deliver that online. It might be messy. I'm sure we'll get there eventually, but we're not there yet. I'm going to segue off into our announcements. We have two opportunities that we are bringing to Sunday in different ways. One is first a Sunday Soloist, and there's information in your program. There's also stuff that's showing up on the live stream as well. But we're looking for somebody who can sing, that would love to participate in this music collaboration that happens every Sunday. And there's more details that you can get into. You can contact Victoria if you have more questions, or if you know of somebody, get them talking to each other. And also, we are bringing the children back into in-person experience. So for that to really rock, we need a youth ed director. And there are various things. I mean, the obvious thing is that you love working with children of different ages, that you're good at supervising teams, because we'll have teachers as well, but we need a direction, captain of the ship, if you will, and also want to know Unity principles and philosophy so that this can get digested at a younger age, because sometimes they're not as interested hanging out here learning these concepts in the way that we're doing it. And obviously, fun and inspiration are rolled into all of that. So if you know of somebody that's that, you can put them in touch with the office at unitychapelhill.org. There's more information in your program and online. Also, Reverend Victoria talked a little bit. We've been through this pandemic thing that's been 2-ish years and change. So we've got people on the front lines in this city that have been there since the beginning. And one of our very own members, Mary Angela Walker, is putting together a gratitude initiative for the nurses at UNC. And so the real boiled down version, there are more details in your program and probably online. She's putting it together. She's going to get $5 gift certificates to hand out. So if you would like to help support that, there's ways of contacting her, getting her that money. She is here in person if you're in person. And it's a great way to say thank you in a simple way. So thank you, Mary Angela, for organizing this, because that also is a very necessary part for this to all work. Get to that. Social media, we're on it. We're on Facebook. Like, Instagram, follow, subscribe, YouTube, and also our e-news. So we've got all that, also a website. So it helps when you actually like those things that you may like, but you may not press like or click like or tap like, depending on what device you're using. But when you do that, that actually helps, and it goes out to the world, and people start noticing more. So please do that. And Alton Jean, do you have a ride? Not yet. So if any of you are willing that are in person, we can talk about getting them there. We'll work that out. And finally, if there's something that's stuck in your head or on your heart or somewhere that's not feeling settled, we have something that we call our 3-minute miracle. And it is supported by our excellent trained prayer team, and today's prayer partner is Pat Webster. So if there's anything that's amiss, this is a great, excellent time to get alignment with a shared individual experience. So Pat, you'll be out in the foyer and then proceed from there. So those of you that are in person, that's how you can do that. If you're online, you can send an email to prayer@unitychapelhill.org and get a phone version of 3-minute miracle as well. So those are all the things. Now, we started kicking off having children, but they haven't physically totally arrived yet, except for, oh wait, we have one. But we're definitely going to sing the song, and then we'll have Mary Angela come up and show the results. So grab your order of service if you don't yet remember what that song is, because it's on there. But you'll catch up.
I am the radiant life of God. I am, I am, I am. I am the radiant life of God. I am, I am, I am. The health of God, the strength of God, vitality in the name of God. I am the radiant life of God. I am, I am, I am.
And we'll get that all figured out in our tongues eventually. So, Mary Angela, if you would just, okay. Yeah, so coming up is our young artist, Mary Angela, and
our artist made butterflies today. Oh, wow.
Yes.
And flowers. And picked out a pet for when she grows up.
Aha. All right, so what goes along with this is our unity blessing.
Oh,
So that is also on here if you're out of practice with that. So this is for this child, for all the children that come through Unity Center of Peace, including our own and those of the planet. Together? We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you just the way you are. And we behold the Christ in you.
Yay. Thank you so much for coming today.
Yes. All right. Okay. Now, would you stand if you're able and let us go through, not just go through, but embody our prayer of protection with the I am statements. And I am going to remember which the first thing is. Yes, okay. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And so it is.